also just to present our amazing hosts for today. We have Jay Murch from New Jersey, been using Vibo for 4 years. He's also been helping us with success calls and doing a ton of amazing things. And Maxwell from Buffalo, New York, same, I think also 3.5 or 4 years with us, and also started helping me out with all these success calls and helping a ton of DJs. And these guys are top notch. So, and I'm also going to probably chime in. I have some nuggets for you guys that maybe I'll even surprise Jay and Maxwell.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So who's first? Who are we looking at? Mike Napoli, are you our guinea pig for today? Sure. Okay. So go ahead and share your template, make it public. Do you know how to do that? LOL. Okay. Let me show everybody how to make their templates public, just in case you don't know. So I'll be sharing my screen here. And guys, feel free to chime in, ask any question, butt in, whatever. It's a small group today. So can you see my screen here?
Yep.
So basically I can go into my template and then I can just click here, share, and either copy the link with us in the chat so the people join here, or make it public. So that's what I want you guys to do. So
while he's doing that, should we review what a good template looks like right now? So show them all the new features and things like that, Michael.
Whatever you want, yeah. Sure.
All right, so I'll start and share my screen here. This is the template that I go over all the new Vibo DJs with. It's got a lot of features in here that are new to Vibo, but also are great as business owners, right? There's some upselling features there. There's an equipment checklist features there, and there's a lot of ways to implement and use Vibo, and a lot of creative and different ways we can execute this. And I'm just trying to show everyone that this is a very unique and customizable and moldable utility, right? So I'm going to go in here to my templates real quick. Excuse the messiness, kind of organizing things at the moment. But here we go. All right. Can everyone see my screen? Yay, nay?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So these are my primary templates here. Shout out to Russ Powell. I was just going over his wedding template with him. That's why you see that here as well. One thing I do want to point out here is that if you have a wedding template, it's 2023, also make a gender neutral version of that template. And depending where you are, your gender neutral wedding template might be your main template. Understand? I wouldn't make different variations, especially of wedding templates, because we're always making changes to them. So if you have that's wedding ceremony cocktail hour, and then wedding cocktail hour, or just wedding reception, right? It gets a little bit ambiguous, right? I don't even know if I'm using that word right, but who cares? No one. We're just DJs. All right, so I'll go into my gender template here and just show you a few features that you can add to your business and kind of up level and just kind of like upgrade you guys. Okay.
By the way, can I give you a little tip?
I was going to ask. Yeah, I was going to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michael.
No, I butt someone in. Who was that?
Oh no, you're good. David. So some of the improvements are actually going to make it with our favorites for our sections that we can move things into our gender neutral areas. Am I getting ahead of myself?
No, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, the feedback that I have for you, Jay, even though you're one of our doctors today, is, in the home screen. Sorry, I mean, in the home screen, click on that template. The photo, I think, in my opinion, I don't know, some of the because I know Jay really well, he actually grabs the photo for the client. Right. But some of us that are doing more events, like let's say you're doing 300 events, whatever, and you don't want to go through that, then you can make the photo work for you, meaning
that's true.
Tap on the little icon above.
Maxwell has a great example of this. So if you look at his template, like he has a great photo that says welcome, first add your engagement photo here. It's got a nice little button to guide them, and they'll redo that photo for themselves. Like my onboarding process is a little bit different, and me asking my clients for their photo is a part of the whole experience of Want to Beat FX, right? And someone asked me this today, like, how do I get so many photos of my clients? And it's because of that specific onboarding experience. And if I have trouble getting photos from clients, I say no, they almost beg me to add their photo after I'm done doing my onboarding process with them, right? And that's here or there. Like, we all have different onboarding processes. It's all about how many events we're doing and how we run our individual companies as well. But no, that's an absolutely good point. I like that you pointed that
On
out.
that topic, also for Max, I would also tell them to tap on the icon, because we made a change that you can't tap on the whole photo anymore because it had a little issue on Android. So we made only the icon on the top tappable. So that's something you may want to consider, to tell them to tap with a little arrow to the top of the camera.
We all
You're
learned
100%
today.
right. I noticed that when I was
Yeah.
going through a demo with a client, with the bride, and I was like tapping on my phone a million times trying to get it to show them how to change a photo, and it just wouldn't. And I was like, oh, okay, I need to redesign this now.
Okay, cool.
Your template is so good, Maxwell. Like, I actually give it to most of my success calls as well. Like, I'm just like, hey, add my coworker Maxwell's template. He killed the thing over there, man. It's awesome. All right, so timeline and music here for me. Here's a few things that I've added specifically to Vibo that may be a little unique, and that's a add-ons equipment checklist, right? So why not have Vibo be the Bible? That was a tongue twister. So glad I said that, right? For your day, right? Have everything in there at once, especially if you have multiple DJs. They can go in here, and then again, this is labeled DJ only, so only we, the DJ, see this entire box here. And then this way, we can kind of have a quick checklist of what equipment we need to bring for the days per event, specific per event. Okay?
Now,
I see some stank faces right now, like people are thinking, or
a little thought now. Even though this is like a new feature, I think we should already talk about the favorites, because some events require different equipment, and you can add different equipment lists as favorites. And then suddenly, if they upgraded their package and you have to add like a photo booth, then you have different checklists in your favorites, and change that for yourself.
At this one
So
right now.
is the favorites, are we treating that like let's say I create a master template, and then I can tag the things that are favorites, and that way if I have some of my older upcoming weddings that aren't part of the new master template, I can just quick add those old bits.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ooh,
That's exactly how it works. Yeah. It's just making our lives a little bit easier in that way, so we don't have to manually type in each new section that we create in our main template timeline here. We can just save this, and like for the weddings I don't have this equipment checklist in, I can go back on my main timeline and add this whole section in there already pre-written out, and like Michael said, per type of event. So equipment checklist for weddings, or for quinceañeras, or for sweet 16, exactly like that. Right. So glad this add features button is here. Like, A+ to the team. Like, this is such a cool feature to add on to. All right.
And where do you find the favorites after you identify them as favorites? Where do you find them?
When you're ready to add a new section right here, you'll see a drop down that says new section or from favorites. Okay, and that's in both of these right here as well. So if I click from favorites, the whole box will show up, and I'm able to add this section right where I want to. It added at the bottom for me. Can you see this?
All right, and then one more follow-up question with the new favorites button. If we go back and let's say we change like the master favorites file, does it trickle all the way down to every place that we've added that tile, or do we have to go in and update each individual time?
Yeah, you're still gonna have to go in and update each individual tile. So nothing you make to the no changes you make to that master template are going to affect like the templates that are assigned to those individual clients. Okay. So even though it's a favorite, it's not attached to this original favorites here in this particular event. Can I explain that well enough, Michael?
Yeah, the answer is unfortunately not yet. So it would be nice if that was the answer, but we won't. It doesn't yet upgrade or change live events if you already created the event. Did that answer your question, Chaz?
Yep, still a pipe dream.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
It's on the list. Show them the size of that list.
It's big.
All right, so another new feature here, many of you probably already seen, is the color coordination with the headlines. And I recommend, if you're not doing this for your clients, that you go ahead and do it. Now, each time you create a headline inside of your timeline here, it's going to automatically assign a color to it, right? Just making it more of a beautiful experience for your clients, so it's not this long drawn out black and white timeline or Google spreadsheet that we used to send before Vibo, right? We're just making it more visually appealing for them, right? Making it more likely that they'll fill this thing out and get us the information that we need. And you can kind of see here, every headline gets its own color automatically associated with it. Okay. One of the last things I'll point out in my timeline here as well, actually two things. If you, and I've seen this mistake happen a lot in timelines, and I really want to point this out. Some people are creating massive questionnaires, right? When they could easily kind of separate the questions specific to this section that they need to be assigned to. So if it's a ceremony question, and a lot of you are doing great at this already, so this, I'm just repeating, I'm preaching to the choir. But if it's a ceremony question, ask it inside of a ceremony section, right? Don't give them this 50-page questionnaire to fill out. If you're having trouble with your clients filling out the questionnaire portion of your Vibo template, like, that's probably the reason why they're looking at it and they're just getting overwhelmed very quickly. And on top of that, if it's a question, and I tell all my new DJs this, if it's a question that you already asked your client in the contract or in your CRM, like, don't again repeat that question, right? I know Joe Bunt's template is on here and he did an amazing job, and all praises to Joe Bunt, but there's a question in there he asked in his wedding planning template, what is your first name and what is the groom's first name, last name? I'm just like, why? I just don't understand why I'm seeing that question twice or three times like this. That blows my mind. So make it easy. Less is more. Less is more. Okay. The only last thing I'll show here is the wedding enhancement, and this feature has been implemented successfully by a few of you guys here. This is a 24/7 opportunity to upsell to your clients to get a great return on investment when it comes to Vibo. Here in wedding enhancements, and you guys are about to see all my pricing. Don't care. You have the ability to show your clients inside the app, which is on their phone, and their phone's on them 24/7, and they're inside this thing, the different offerings that you have, right? And you may have more or not as many as this. Maybe you just have uplighting, just add that, right? Because if they're at a wedding and they see, dancing on the clouds or uplighting, and they're wondering if you do that, they don't have to reach out. They can see it on your Vibo account. They can see the pricing of that. And more often than not, even if they just didn't have the money to begin with when they first booked you to add one of these upsells or enhancements, they may have the money maybe a month or a few weeks out before their wedding. And this is an easy way to recoup some of that, right? This is an easy way to put money back.
Something that we may not know, but where the links that Jay put, the blue links are actually tappable in app, and that represents a photo, I assume. So it'll actually open in the app, and then they can just tap and see what you're selling or upgrading them, or upselling, basically.
Right. That's a good feature too. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Any questions? And we can move on over to whoever's template we want to work on this one.
I have a question.
Actually, okay, go ahead. Yeah, then I want to toss on one more thing. Go for it.
I'll be quick. If you have an event set up, everything's good to go, they're working on it, doing some of the planning, and then you want to add a section to it, can you do that to an existing event, or will it only take effect the next time you start a new event? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
absolutely. You go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. Yes, you can add the new section, whether it be just a new section or a favorite, into the already created event. You can absolutely do that. The thing that doesn't happen is when you change one of those favorites of those sections, it's not going to change across everything that you already added it to. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Last thing, guys, I just want to show you on my end. I'm going to jump into my template real fast here, and then we'll start going into all of yours. And mine, on just one thing on what Jay said as well, inside of the template. Here, I'll share my screen here. Perfect. Can everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, awesome. Just two things. The first one, in terms of volume, my company gets through about 200 events a year or so, and dealing with questions from clients about the app presented a little bit of a hurdle for my company to jump over. The way that we fixed it was we put a page on our website, and we took one of the 60-second video demos that are in the Marketing Assets Google Drive that's inside of the web app that you guys can all access. We took that and just put it on our website, and we put a link on the very first section with a welcome. And after we did that, every single one of our client questions were completely mitigated until our planning meeting took place. So that's just a little tip if you guys want to think about doing that. And then the other item in terms of not making it overwhelming, I totally agree with Jay on this. In terms of down in the dance floor section, mine is really small, only because the inside of the dance floor section is where I ask the activities if they would like to do them. So I don't have full sections for a bouquet toss, for a shoe game, for a garter removal off the bat. I can then go create those with favorites once I talk to them in the planning meeting. Just that way, when they go through it for the first time this way, it's just kind of getting their feels and touches about the information we're asking them without having to essentially make them feel like they need to make a decision right off the bat. So anyways, that's all I wanted to share with you guys on that guy.
I love what you did with the first section where you added questions and you added your clickable email. That will automatically open their Gmail, whatever their email app on their phone.
Nice.
Every way that you can allow them to get in touch with you easiest will always make their lives better. So if they have to go back to the home screen and then tap on your face to reach out to you when they may just think of a question immediately, having an area to get to you quickly definitely helps for sure.
I got a question real quick.
Hit it.
What's up, Max? How you been?
Good, man. How are you? I miss your face, dude.
I know. I'll see you in August. Anyways, when you print out your PDF with those questions, like in a subsection, like on the open dance, how does that look?
It is great question. Let me see if I can.
Although we're making some upgrades next week, so that'll be even better question on the next webinar. But let Maxwell show you.
Are you sure you want to do it now? Why don't we just wait?
Yeah, shout out to Joe, like we mentioned before, but one of his feedback to help us improve was the PDF. So we're going to be implementing some PDF changes next week. I'm hopefully within a week, that have also the headlines, the colors if you want them, and also the ability to add the answers and the questions in the timeline itself. Darren.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry to cut you off, Max.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
No, you're good. Let's cover it when it's updated, because I feel like
let's cover it when it's updated. I want to just focus on templates.
I just wanted to know how that looks. I mean, I understood that you shrunk it down without having like my PDF has like the sections, bouquet, garter, and all that stuff. But you kind of squished yours down into one section, and I just wondered what that looked like when it came out on your form. That was it.
I'm gonna print one real quick just to see here.
Okay, while he's doing that, anyone want to share your templates? I have Mike's.
Yeah, we have one from Mike.
Let's do it.
All right, so do you want to hop into it now? I'll hop into it.
Yeah, hop into it, man. And then when Max is ready, he can share his.
All right, so Mike, how you doing? First of all, the picture, amazing. You already put the little arrow there, like Mike said, super smart. I just have a few notes that I wrote down about your timeline here that I like to point out. Okay, so some general information here. One, definitely add some headlines. You know what I mean? If you don't already have to
public.
do that.
I see it's public.
General information is public as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting. Yeah, but that might just be for the guests. I don't know.
The guests can't see the questions, so it doesn't really matter.
Good. And also there's songs here too. So I would turn that feature off, so I would go in here and turn off songs and just set this back to DJ and host. Okay. That kind of cleans that up a little bit. Also, and this is just my opinion, but are these absolutely questions, that we need to know? This is a lot. This is almost 30 questions that you're hitting them over the head with to begin with, right? And I would bet to say that if you were having any problems with clients filling out your template or getting to 100% in your timeline here, it's probably because of the massive amount of questions. Okay. Like is this part of your onboarding process, adding these questions here? Like if you've talked about it before, don't ask them again. Like if you've got this information ahead of time, like these are great questions to talk to your client about in person, right? Not again to ask them over in the timeline. So that add some headlines to this as well to kind of break it up again. And I'll just add one in here so you can kind of see what it looks like. You're just going to hit this, make section a headline. It's just going to easily kind of break things down. Now we're adding some color to it. Now we're kind of breaking up the monotony. The other thing that I saw that was huge was the amount of song ideas that you're giving the clients for cocktail hour music. 280 seems expansive. But if this is what they need to see, like definitely keep it. But there's first dance stuff in here, so go through your song idea suggestions and delete some of these, right? Like I would say 5-10 max maybe per song idea section. I mean, would you agree, Max? I don't know what you're looking
Absolutely. On the music ideas list, this is totally my personal opinion, which of course all of this stuff is, but
of course,
in terms of the song ideas, for me personally, I found that just 4 for each section is perfect, because essentially the 4 will fit on the screen, so they won't have to
4 to 6, because usually if you have like a bigger phone, then 6 is the magic number for you. 4 to 6.
Okay, so 4 to 6 is perfect, and I'm not sure if you guys have spent the time to create your own song idea lists and add in your own cover art, but this is the perfect place to bring in your brand congruency from what your company looks like and website over to these playlists. So you could look at my song ideas, but I have essentially just 12 different playlists, one for each part of the evening. And then the first playlist recommendation that they see for each section is a customized recommendation list, whether or not it was built by us, fine, whatever, but it has our logo on it. And it essentially just shows through the process that it's a little bit more tailored, but 100%, 4 to 6 is perfect, you guys. And I would throw in a custom one in there.
Can either you or Jay show your song ideas just so people?
Yeah, mine is so bad. Mines are great. I love them. These are just how I do my branding, very simple, but I love this simple text with my imagery and branding logo on it. And yes, this is a playlist I give to all my clients, and they laugh all the time. Okay, if you're on there. But yeah, I'll let you share, Maxwell, if you have any. Oh, one more thing. Before we go into that, let me go back into your templates here and point out the only other thing. Okay, so your homework is obviously just going through the questions, seeing what you really need here. Ask yourself if you've already talked to them, or if you're not really utilizing this information on their day, then just remove it from the timeline here. It'll make it easier on them here. This is literally the first box they see, and there's almost 30 questions, which is a large amount. Going through the song ideas, and that's good. Wedding Party Processionals only has 5. That's great too. 3 there. And at the end, I just had a question about apps. 100% absolutely needs to be played. What is the logic here? I'm curious, and you can type it in the chat between this and like marking a song like must play. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to jump on the mic because it's too hard to type too. So for that section, what I'm looking at doing is, they've got their must plays, which, I'm probably are going to play anyway. But these are songs that are the ones that are really important to them that need to be played before everybody goes home.
Okay. And I might have missed it, but that's different than them marking a song must play inside the dance music playlist.
No, I guess it's the same thing. I just find that a lot of couples don't use that feature.
Okay. Do you, on your onboarding, do you show them how to use the app, or you just send it to them? Or just
I just send them the Brian B video, actually, the
Gotcha.
YouTube link. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, absolutely.
I actually have a question for you on that in terms of process. When do you have the planning meeting per se before the event?
So I actually discussed this with Brian B. So he thinks I do it too far out, but 2 months before the event.
That's totally fine. No, the only reason why I asked is because during that meeting is the perfect time to reiterate about the must plays and make that a focus. So in terms of how my planning meetings operate, I'm just going through and covering everything that they toss in there, talking about their big day and, our process as an individual company, yada, yada. And then at the end of that planning meeting call, I essentially give them homework. And I say, hey, if you don't have any must plays, I recommend, marking up to however many, we limit them at, so that we make sure we know exactly what you want to hear. Essentially, I'm just reiterating those little pieces just so we can keep the template relatively clean at the end of the day.
Okay. And I know I'm jumping in here. They also, you're able to, if they have a must play or any song, they can actually add comments to that actual song.
Yeah.
So if they have a must play, they can tell you exactly why they feel it's important, whether it's their first date, their sister and their brothers, their sibling song, their parent song, and that shows right up on your PDF, right where the song's at.
Yeah, why must play? I love that.
Right.
Okay.
I have a question also to Mike. I saw some of the places where you're using your notes and you could have used the description. Why are you using the some places I would kind of swap, because the description is going to be on the top, like what you wrote here. I would change that. Yeah, back to the absolutely. I actually love that you did that 100% absolutely. I think it's creative. Can you tap on that for me, Jay?
This one?
No, the 100% absolutely needs to be played. So I would copy that text and go to the section settings and add that as a headline.
Yeah, so just like this, I totally agree with that, because this is more of a direction. All right. So just click on settings here and put it right here in section description. Right.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll just remove this guy altogether.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes it a little bit more cleaner for your guests there.
Cool.
That's a good point. I like that.
Now, another little, if we're talking about notes, I'm going to put on my doctor's suit also and kind of give a few of my tips, guys. So there's an ability to add, because right now we're in templates. So if you add predefined notes, then you can use it, for example, not everywhere, but let's say you're emceeing as well, and you have a script, or you're a multi-op and you're sending someone else he's not as savvy with the microphone. You can put in that script in there and go into like introductions, Jay. So for example, when you hover above a question, like give me the names, like let's say, how do you want to be introduced? When you hover above that name, that you see there's a little copy button. That copy button will, a little to the left. That copy button will also appear to the answers. So you can quickly copy an answer like the names and paste it into your script, a predefined script. And that way you can also decide that the notes in that specific section are DJ only. So the notes only will be only visible to you or your DJ. And then they can basically see that. And then the client doesn't know that you have a script. So that's a cool way to use
I like that.
The notes.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Is there any way? So I love that feature. I use that feature all the time, but I've wondered for a long time if we could make that feature where you just check mark for print for PDF, so that you're not copying and moving it. So like if you hover over that section, or let's say we use the Grand March and they put everybody in that list rather than copying it and putting it down in the notes, where you hover over for the copy button, you just make available for PDF, so that when you print your PDF, that answer shows up in the notes.
So
Does that make sense?
we're changing the PDF a little bit next week. Hopefully that'll be good enough. And if not, I love that idea. Am I feedbacking? Yeah, totally. I'm with you on that one. But hopefully next week with the PDF upgrade, you'll be able to print the answers into the timeline section.
Notes inside the timeline. Let's go. Questions inside the timeline.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Mike, can I make a recommendation?
Please do.
All right. So if you guys scroll down to open dancing. So I have it set up on here already. I think it's under the questions actually. Yeah. So like, see where, country music. So I want to gauge how my, how interested my couples are in these genres. Is there any way instead of me having those check boxes that we could do like a star system, like a star rating system?
Why don't you just put stars in here instead?
Oh, how do you do that?
Okay.
I didn't know you could do that.
Just with
I
your
would
emoji.
just change these to multiple choice instead of checkboxes, and then I would go and type in star.
Wikipedia.org if you need, yeah.
Or on the Mac computer, you just hit function control spacebar. It'll bring up all the emojis there.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I see.
All right. Yeah, just like that.
Very
Awesome.
cool. I love it.
Yeah, I actually really like that. And if you wanted to, I've noticed this a little bit, getting the clients to answer questions about music in a more general sense at the top of the template will actually give you guys more of an honest answer, because once they jump into all of the sections and start to choose specific songs and really start to make decisions, they really start thinking heavily about what their music they're choosing and how all of their guests will feel about it. So when you can ask just some personalized questions like that, but in a section near the top, then essentially they're going to go through it without thinking because they haven't gone through all of the other sections yet, and just kind of answer honestly. There's a question that I have at the top section of wedding details, and it pretty much asks one question and just says, what music genre do you favor? And I found that that answer is pretty stark of a difference between what music they actually put on the open dancing section. So just to learn more about them, you can change the places of where these things are so that your dance floor section doesn't feel like it has, 30 questions on it. You can create another piece with it.
Another thing I would say about emojis is one emoji that's quite popular is the light bulb emoji for adding pro tips. So if you're kind of adding a section detail on the top or any kind of description and you want to make it stand out a little bit, you can add a little light bulb and say pro tip. And that kind of gives it more of like it sounds more like you're an authority telling them what, suddenly it's a pro tip. So, ooh, let's pay attention.
Drink too much.
I mean, it sounds funny, but people actually don't drink too much. Nice. Another thing that I've been seeing lately on calls, guys, is DJs adding a section on the top or on the bottom that says done with your planning. And then they go in and there's a Calendly link. So when they're done with all their planning, it's going to automate that last consultation with you guys. If any one of you, I'm sure lots of us are using Calendly. So that's a nice way to automate that last meeting. Anyone doing that yet? Okay, cool.
That's the first time. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else, guys? Or if you want to drop your link inside the chat window.
I can throw mine in there.
Yeah, throw yours in the chat window.
And another thing that I've been seeing people doing is not only done with that little checkbox with the Calendly link, but also review us or whatever, our social media. You can add a section that has a link to your wedding, and usually they make it public, so not only can your clients see it, but also the guests.
That's a smart tip.
I need to switch to 2023 here. On my.
That's actually one of the things that I've just recently added was I was told it wouldn't necessarily hold up in court if somebody got really pissy, but can I have a right? Do I have your permission to post taken on me? Really like that.
I asked him that in the contract.
Right. Like I had my contract years ago, and I don't want to go through the same nasty of redoing it. So I put it in my.
Hard to understand.
Say what?
I'm so
Guys, you're cutting off a little bit. But another little thing while I have the microphone before we look at David shared, you shared your template, David, right?
Right.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
one
got
thing
it
that
here.
I've also noticed is the people tab. So you can use the people tab as well to, they say that people have to hear you at least 5 or 6 times before they decide to book you. So if these guys are also sharing the app with their friends, and then they saw they saw your branding in the app, they saw you at the event, you may have sent them a playlist with memories after the event with the Spotify export. But then why not add your brand here? So I see Mike did it. And if some of you aren't doing that, I do see something to improve, Mike. This is Mike's, right? Yeah, sound formula. So the text invitation to hosts is good, but then the text invitation to guests, we're missing out. Like, we can imagine that we're the host sending this to our guests. You can say, hey there, our DJs at Sound Formula Entertainment are inviting you to choose a few songs. And then suddenly your brand is another touch point with a potential customer that heard you at an event, and then suddenly they're getting married.
Good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little tiny tip.
That's a goal. That's a bar right there.
Add a little star, brother.
For sure.
Before we jump into the next one, do you guys want me to share the song ideas list?
Yeah, let's do that. Go ahead.
Okay, I got you. All righty. So for the song ideas, these are what my song ideas look like.
A+.
Again, there's not really that many, but essentially the reason why I did this is when a when a bride would reach out for a consult, and before they would book a meeting with me or something, and I'm just, sending them follow-up emails and whatnot, I started including custom Spotify playlist links in these emails and just say, hey, here's, our top picks for this. Here's a piece of value you can look through, whether or not you book with us or not, it doesn't matter. And then for the couples that did end up booking us, and once they got into the app, they would essentially go through choosing music and they would see the exact same playlist that they already saw before, and now they can choose music from it. So it just kind of congruently goes through everything. So on my company's Spotify playlist, I have all of these as public playlists with the exact same cover art on there, just so it's congruent. But long story short, I just created all of these for you. For the guys that are asking about the graphics, it's just in Canva. I'm not sure if you know what Canva is. It's a free Photoshop kind of thing. So that's where I just made these. I reached out to a photographer in our area and just said, hey, can I have some content? They were like, sure. They were very nice about it. And I just built these together in a matter of an evening. So once I actually have them in a template, let me see. Actually, you know what? I want to give you the visual on the phone. So hold on one second. I got my phone on here. There she is. Perfect. So when I'm in the timeline and music, also for the guys that ask for vendor information, make it its own section. I recommend. So it's not in a whole list of other things. The song ideas, let's go down to cocktail hour, add songs. Now I have the branded custom playlist right at the front, and then only 2 others from Vibo down below. And you can customize all 4 if you really wanted to. But this is just another way to get your brand in front of people, and they'll more likely click on something that they're familiar with. So if they see your brand on something, they're going to feel like it's a little bit more custom, and then they would just go look at yours a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's one way you can use song ideas.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
I want to ask about far as branding. As far as your logo, what size does the logo have to be to get your total logo? What are the pixels? I guess I'm asking to make all of the different pictures clear. And,
Oh, it needs to be a perfect square. So 600 by 600 to be exact.
600 by 600.
Yeah. So it's
Is
just
that pixels?
Pixels. Yes.
I push mine a little bit to
Same here.
1080 by 1080.
Yeah.
Just like an Instagram post, like on Canva, they have when you say create graphic, they give you an option to choose Instagram post, and it just gives you a perfect square that then you can edit with.
600 by 600. Because the problem I'm having is when I put my logo and everything, it's like either I can't get everything in there. So I'm like, what I was actually, the question is, what is the total pixels to make everything look uniform across everything for as what you're doing with pictures? And that was my biggest problem, to figure out what was the pixels of everything to make it look more personal, more good looking, so to speak. Is that a dumb question?
No, not at all. Did we answer it okay?
Yeah,
with
you
the
did.
sizing?
600 by
Cool.
6. Yeah. Great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
When
for
I'm
sure.
doing my song ideas, my personal playlists, I brand it with the name of my company, is Through Voice Production. So it's 3VP. So I call it 3VP Grand Entrance Songs. So they know that that's from me.
Love it.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Show us. You want
Share
it.
my screen. Yeah, sure.
Let's see what you got. I
Show
mean,
us what you got.
while he's showing, I can't emphasize how much the branding, the song ideas is like not a lot of work and a ton of value, because if you look at a phone, whenever you click on add songs, most of the screen is the song ideas.
Mhm.
So if you just brand those song ideas and make them look gorgeous, your brand is going to come up again and again and again in the app.
Yeah, I just put 3VP. I should probably, you guys gave me an idea to add pictures, but I tell them if you see 3VP in the song list, that's my personal recommendations. There you go.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I tried doing that. I just tried in the playlist. I tried putting a graphic onto it, and it's not saving it. I tried it on a couple of different playlists, and it doesn't seem to save.
What
And it's
browser
a
are you
600
on?
by 600 JPG.
What browser are you using?
I am on Safari. Should I be on like Chrome or something maybe?
Try on Chrome. If it doesn't work on Chrome, then we can talk after the meeting. And
Did you
Okay.
did you drag it over, or did you click on edit playlist?
Well, I'm in the playlist that I created. I have a few of them that I have saved, and I clicked on the image, and then where it's got the camera, I clicked on that
Right.
and dragged it in and hit done. And it doesn't change it.
It
Then you go
should
back
work.
to
You can
song
show
ideas,
it.
and it's just the default.
Yeah. Try doing it on your end, Max.
I'll try it on Chrome.
Should be okay. If not, hit me up after the call. We'll help you.
Okay.
I had an issue as well with that, and it was down to the file size, and
Yeah,
I made the files smaller, and then it works fine.
Okay.
So I'm using a 1080 by 1080 square, and make sure you hit done. I did that by accident.
And mine says changes saved successfully, but it's not doing it.
Yeah,
have
we'll
to
take
check
care
it.
of you after. We can stay immediately after this call on the call, and we'll help you. Not a problem.
Hey, speaking of pictures, I'll often take a template or make a template out of a great wedding playlist. That wedding playlist happens to have that bridegroom's picture on it. And I've found that I can't change the picture on my PC. I've only got to do it on my phone. Is that correct?
No, it should work on the PC. Maybe it has to do with updating the browser, but you can stay after the call as well. We'll
Yeah,
check.
I just uploaded a 2000 by 2000 favicon, and it worked just fine. And I got Chrome.
I wonder why it doesn't like mine.
It's not a real big step for me to go to it on my phone and delete it. But while I'm there on the PC creating the timeline form, it'd be nice to be able to take it off from my PC. But
It should
you
work.
had told me a while back that I can't do it on my PC. So that's why I brought it up to see if that had changed.
It changed. You should be
Oh,
able.
good. Okay,
I think
super.
so. I think we can try it after.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about that, Chris. Like, you take a playlist of an event that you got, and then you export it to Spotify to bring it back as a song idea list, you're saying? Or am I not understanding you correctly?
No, I'm just talking about the whole timeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the whole timeline. Yeah, I'm not talking about a picture for a playlist. I'm talking about the picture for the couple.
Okay.
I can only change it from my app, not on the PC.
We'll look into it for sure.
I'm going to go into, oh, wow. David?
Uh-oh. I'm sure there's a little bit of work to be done.
No, not much. Yours is like beautiful. I just want to give you your flowers real quick.
Thanks. Until you look at that guest request.
This is yours, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's yours? Okay. Well,
I think
first
I
and
stole that from
foremost,
somebody.
this is gorgeous. Love the picture. Just like Michael said, add in, some of the text here for the text invitations and the email invitations as well. Michael,
Right.
you want to repeat that?
To repeat the part here?
Yeah, I kind of
Sure.
missed out.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that didn't hear, we can use these invitations to add our branding. So if it's the email invitation to hosts, it's usually coming from us DJs. So the first one and the third one, I like to always start when I call people or when I text them, I'll say, hey, Michael from Vibo. So you'll say, hey, it's David. Remind me your brand.
Bring on the Night Entertainment.
It's David from Bring on the Night Entertainment. They immediately know who they're getting this from. It's immediately not spam.
Right.
But then the email invitation to the guests is usually, unless it's a corporate or a party that you're sending it out, for the weddings, it's 99% coming from the bride and groom or whatever type of event it may be. So I like to add my own branding here. I'll say, hey, it's David from Bring on the Night Entertainment. No, excuse me. Hey, our DJ David from Bring on the Night Entertainment is inviting you to choose songs, and suddenly it's more personal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. And your timeline and music. This is absolutely gorgeous, David. Like, hand claps. I wish I had a applause button right now. We should all have.
And back to the other one with all the questions. I can't remember whose template that was. They can still have that as a section. Just make it DJ only, and when they're talking to them, they can fill in all that information as they're talking to them, but they don't know that you're not making them refill it in. So
yeah, I totally agree on that. And I even love about your template in Pacific is this guest area. Like, I've often recommended this to other people, but like, you don't have to make the actual DJ open dance floor music public. You can have the guests have their own section separating it from the bride and groom. And like, I absolutely love this, man. So like, woo!
Great idea.
By the way, is the guest area public? Is the headline public?
Oh, the headline's not public.
No. You can make
the headline doesn't
public as well if you want. I mean, you don't have to, of course, but
yeah. I mean, guest request is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then on my music, well, until the feature comes out, which hopefully will come out soon, Michael, to limit the amount of requests a single guest can make. You find out that everybody and their cousin has a Spotify list they want to offload on somebody just for fun. So when one person unloads 199 songs, and
well, guests shouldn't be able to upload.
Guests can't upload
Spotify.
Yeah, guests have to choose them one by one.
One by one. Yeah, they do.
Nice.
For sure. So no, I that would totally be a useful plan as well.
Nice.
Yeah, everything's great. The only thing I would ask is, in your vendor details here, you have the venue. You're asking them what venue it is, but that's usually answered on the home screen, right?
Right, and I usually fill a lot of this in for them as I talk to them, because I don't actually use Vibo to sell.
Right.
I sell me, and then I sell Vibo. But yeah, no, it's just I tell them when we do our Vibo we do our next meeting, I usually tell them to make sure they get all their vendor contracts together. So I know what time the photographer's showing up. I know what time they're leaving.
Also, why is the photo booth here? Is this something you're doing? Or you're just asking them about it?
If they're not using my photo booth, then yeah, I definitely want to know which vendor it is. So
that helps you.
For my notes, yeah, knowing when to, if I'm the MC, I want to know when the photo booth opens and when to make last call for the photo booth.
Gotcha.
So obviously my music requests, I usually don't have them fill out my music. I usually just have them work on their Spotify lists. And then towards the end, closer to the event, I'll have them paste that link in there so I can look at their Spotify list at any time. And then I just import it once.
I also like that you put all the music requests on the top, and they're timeless basically.
Yes.
Although I do see add a time to the open dancing. Is that for any reason?
Not really.
Good point. That was great. Yeah, these are perfect. I absolutely love these. Like, great job, dude.
Thanks.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, those are super sweet.
All right, who do we have next?
So before we just wrap up on David, is there any reason you didn't add any song ideas for their music requests?
I think he said they work off their Spotify, right?
Okay.
On which one?
I saw that in your cocktail hour. Yeah, no songs, and
the idea list. Yeah, I haven't really gone through that and added those in.
Okay.
Open dancing, they can give me some genres if they like. But yeah, usually I'll go off sometimes I'll make another section depending on how stressed out they are, where they can just dump, and this will go back into that feature where we can just drag and drop songs. They'll just drop 300 songs into a Spotify list. I import them all and then I sort them out. Cocktail dinner. This is a good dance song. This is never going to work song. And I just take care of that for them. So
cool. When you're sorting them out, do you use the move feature, or are you typing them in?
Yeah, I use the move feature. It's not as easy as it is, especially when sometimes things refresh.
Yeah.
And they don't actually, or the selection stays there and it moves down like different songs.
Yeah. Where are you from, by the way, David? Just curious.
Washington State.
Okay, cool.
Seattle area. But yeah, the being able to drag and drop would be super nice. Also, that other feature I was talking to you about, Michael, finding out duplicates. So making sure that you don't have a duplicate in the cocktail and the dinner and the first dance. It's always good not to play the song first. So, but yeah.
Love it. I sent you a question in the chat. I wanted to know if you knew somebody from Seattle. All right. So who do we have next here? Did someone else post their link in the chat?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Let me pull that up real quick. Who said, yeah, I did?
Me.
Yes. Me.
The other guy.
You need DJ's permission to view this page?
That's your template?
Yes, sure.
Did you copy the URL or did you click share?
Yeah, I
no, you got to share it, man.
What do I?
Oh yeah, okay.
What do I do?
Go and show them how.
Yeah, you're gonna go to your templates here, select one, and you're gonna hit the share button right up top, and you're gonna hit copy link.
That's what I did. Okay, hold on. Because
anyone.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Copy link. All right, I got it now. Because I'm an idiot.
Shout out to Chris, by the way. He's all the way awake in the UK.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, Chris, let's go. Thanks for staying up.
Okay, so all right.
Here, while you guys do that, I'll just ask this question to everybody kind of hanging out with us. I do my onboarding with inviting my clients to the app a little bit differently than how it's built in within Vibo. If that's of interest to anybody, let me know and I can kind of show you guys what I do.
I got it in there now.
Okay. This is his template. Okay, let's start from the very beginning here. We're missing the photo, of course. That's very curious.
Yeah.
Another thing is, do you really want to
I don't know
guests
why.
invite each other?
I was going to say that too, but
We had to we redid some templates, and I don't know why it doesn't have our logo in there. It usually has our logo.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, and like Mike said, guests can invite guests, probably for weddings in particular. It's a good feature to turn off, but that's up to you and how you guys run things. Okay. And yep, again, here, just add your personalized message. Use this as a branding opportunity, like Michael said. A custom personalized message coming from the host, which are the bride and groom. Okay. And timeline and music. Okay, there's so much going on here. One, there's no colors. So headlines, you've learned that today.
Yeah.
So drop down here, add some headlines to this, add some colors to it, make it more beautiful.
I do it. I promise you, I do have it on there. I just haven't actually added it to the template. I make it harder on myself, and I do it as at the event, as I'm working on the event.
That is a lot hard. That's a lot.
It is.
You got a lot of free time. I don't know.
As I'm sitting there working on the event, as I'm doing the final details, I'm like, okay, add ceremony, add reception, add,
Right.
Other
than that,
my life is not complicated enough.
I have one thing that only came up in my own experience using my template. So I had the same thing in terms of the parent dances, but I labeled it not only as parents, but I labeled it as what the dances technically or usually are, being the father, daughter, mother, son. And I ran into a situation at a planning meeting where I asked what song they were going to choose for the father-daughter dance, because they hadn't chosen one yet, to find out that the father had passed away 3 weeks prior to that meeting.
Oh, wow.
So what I do instead is I title that section Formal Dance 1. And then in the questions, I ask who's dancing. Is it the father-daughter? Is it grandfather-daughter? Is it an other? And they can tell me who, but that way I just don't assume. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maxwell, genius.
So here we've come across where, like, I do a lot of same-sex marriages here, and I understand, about the gender neutral different templates and all that stuff. So we just try and keep it simple, parent dance.
Oh, dude, there's a million different ways to do things.
Yeah. And then there's we get a lot of step parent dances and all that stuff. So that's why we just do parent dances. But I like the formal dance. I do like that idea.
Yeah, I love that. Genius. So one thing I thought of here is that you have questions just sitting here by themselves. Could this be put inside of something, or is there a specific reason you have this question sitting outside?
So here, like I said, Texas is its own entity. We do things a whole lot differently than any other friggin' state in the world. I'm not gonna lie.
Texas, you guys think you are the United States. That's
we do. I'm not gonna lie. We love our guns, we love our alcohol, and we love our everything. Yeah, they literally sit there and like, well, I'm gonna have Uncle Bob do the blessing. And so it's like we put it right there so it's plain as day. That's
sweet. Yeah, I like that.
Why we do it.
That's super smart. I don't have any other notes. If anyone in the chat or who's on here pointed anything out too, Michael.
I like that it's simple. I really like it's not a lot of questions. It's
right.
Point. And it's in their face. They fill it out.
Yeah.
And literally, and I know Joe's template is on here, and Joe was actually asking us for advice, and we were trying to get Joe to simplify his. Like he said,
I totally agree.
like Joe was coming to us, like Joe, before Joe cleaned up his, he had so many questions on his thing. And I'm like, Joe, you've got to clean it up. And why do you need the bride and groom's name on there?
Totally agree. I pointed that out.
You hired him. I'm like, Joe, you don't need that on there. But yeah, we try to keep it simple here,
Yeah, you did an amazing job. Super simple.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Love it. Yeah, it's only 3 questions in here. Thank you. I want to fill this out, you know?
I mean,
Make it look like less work. Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we just try to keep it as simple. We don't want them to be like, oh my God, there's so many questions, and so.
Gotcha. DJ American Rob. That's one of my guys. What's up? What's up, Rob?
Hey,
All right. Good to see you again. All right, let's see all the progress. This is the homework check-in too. When's the last time I checked in with you?
this is mostly based off of DJ Randy's, and then I just
Gotcha.
customized them and left a lot of stuff. But
Did I do something wrong? I was totally wasn't paying
Maybe you
attention.
invited him to an event instead of a template. I'm not sure.
no, it was the template. I thought.
Okay.
I
Let me
went
click
to
in again.
the
Sorry.
Yeah, just log in again.
Okay, I'll just log in again. I don't remember my password. Someone else is gonna have to do this.
Here, Jay, stop sharing and just work on it in a second. I will bring up and show you guys how I do the onboarding, like reach out. And I will preface it by saying
I got
it's way
it.
over the top. Oh, you got it? Okay.
All right. Man, wedding music and timeline with games. Okay. And Rob, tell everyone where you're from so we can get an idea.
I'm from the North Houston area, Texas.
Okay. So we've got Texas in the house heavy today. All right, cool.
He works with Chris English.
Yes, the links. I love it.
I just copy and pasted that one. I literally.
I'm partial to the links, man. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. All right. So wedding information, you obviously went through these and checked, like, these are the questions you need to ask, right? Wedding website URL, like, you don't ask that anywhere else.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Arrival time, awesome. Questions are looking very slim here as well. I like how specific these are. Very cool. Ceremony, we got headlines here as well. Look at all of the emojis. Great. Cocktail hour. Only thing I would recommend, especially for cocktail hour, again, like 4 to 6 is the magic number. So like if you want to like kind of trim these down, that'd be great. But they all look very specific. So I actually like them. I wouldn't even touch it. Dance, dinner music, also great. If anyone sees anything, feel free to point it out. When you send these to your clients, do you talk to them before you send it to them, or are you sending it to them and say, hey, fill this out? Pretty much.
Usually
do you have an onboarding with them? That's all I'm asking.
I've kind of got a few different ways. I've got multiple different forms of leads. So if it's a lead through a like an all-inclusive package, usually I'll send them the walkthrough video, and then I usually ask them. This is one that I do with games. I have another one that doesn't have the games with it, but it's basically the same thing. This one's just a little bit more exhaustive.
Right.
And then on that, yeah, so I usually will use it also as a sales point, like when I'm meeting with couples that are just going through my website directly. I'll talk to them, I'll send them that video walkthrough as a sales thing, and then whenever we actually set it up, they usually ask me, am I going to get am I going to get a link to my wedding? And I was like, yeah, once you book. So you gotta do that first. But I usually will walk through it with them, like when I first get it to them. And then that's usually where we will have multiple.
Good. Yeah, so all I added in here was like some headlines for you just to break it up because it was getting extra long. So you just had a reception here. So take this as you want, but like break it up at any point between, dinner or formalities, and then, the party, which we all know as DJs is really when the dance music starts and all that good stuff. So that's the only recommendation I would have. Just, it's a super long timeline with just that one section you had of reception.
Yeah.
So just break it up just a little bit.
I usually tell them to go in on the planning question side and answer as many of those as they can first, and then go in and start adding music afterwards.
That's fine.
And that way, because I try to get them to do the general questions first, because usually that's the stuff they already have the answer for. And then the rest of it, I mean, they fill out as they go. And again, my normal timeline doesn't have shoe game, doesn't have musical chairs, doesn't have anniversary dance, doesn't have table photo challenge, doesn't have, you know, all those extra stuff. So
one of the
but
things
it's the same thing
too is,
otherwise.
the ones that are controversial, like the shoe game, most people may not have, or 50-50. You can add that to the description and say, like, pro tip, don't 50% don't have whatever. I mean, name it whatever you say. Like, some couples don't do it, but some love this. Feel free to delete.
So usually whenever I do my meeting with them, I just now recently added all these features to my favorites, and I do the timeline that doesn't have it. And then I talk to them about their wedding and their timeline and see if they have any interest in adding anything to their wedding, mainly for like the couples that don't want as much dancing, or they don't think that their people are going to do as much dancing. I usually tell them that's whenever you would want to add in some games. I don't actually send all of it. So I only add in the ones during the conversation that they would want. So most of the time I don't add in musical chairs or shoe game unless they specifically ask for that.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
But
I love it. I love it. That's really smooth. Can you, Jay, can you scroll up to the dinner section for me?
Sure.
Just a question. Why 50 songs?
I don't know how things work in Texas, but I'm curious now too.
honestly, I just picked a random number. I didn't.
That's totally okay.
Plan.
The only
So
go ahead.
I will
go ahead.
say, typically what I do for cocktail hour dinner, I do tell them that if they want to just do one playlist for both, they can just do all their music on one. And then they don't have to do both sections. They can just do one or the other. And then 50 songs should be enough for,
Fair.
cocktail and dinner.
That's fair. Okay.
I used to have mine at 50 and I changed mine to 30. And I explained to my couples, listen, if you have an hour and a half, 2 hours of open dance, each song nowadays is only about 3.5 minutes. You're only going to get 17 to 18 songs per hour. There's no way you're going to need 50 songs.
Yeah.
I do a lot of quick mixing.
I tell them, give me only like 15 to 20 songs that you absolutely want to hear, and let us do our job. Let us read the crowd.
Although Darren, sorry to interrupt Rob's template. Can you go back to Darren's template, please?
Darren's template. Okay.
Go to the
That's probably one of my old
home
ones.
screen. Go to the home screen of that template. You see, when you're letting them add new sections, the limit is 50.
Yeah, I've changed all mine now. This is probably one of my old ones.
Oh, okay, so I would change.
I've changed all mine to 30 now.
Oh, okay, because when they add a new section, then they suddenly can abuse your 30.
That's what I was telling you about a while back about the add sections, when I told you that they can still keep adding. I had one client.
So you turn that off, basically, the add section button?
Yeah, I need to. I had one client that had like 4 or 5 extra sections. I'm like, son of a, that was before the whole turn off switch came around. God, they had 100 and something songs.
Whoa! Everything's bigger in Texas.
That's the exact mistake that I made when I first started using a Vibo. I had every big playlist section at 100 songs. And I was like, yeah, sure, that should be enough. And then had to really work really hard to get through
all that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to do the math. You're only going to get 17 to 18 songs per hour. And these people think, oh, I've got 60 songs, you're not going to hear. And then they're going to, why didn't you play all my songs?
100%. So mine are capped at 25 for any of the biggest sections now. And if they want to add more, they can reach out. And honestly, I'm okay with giving them more options, but I want them to start with the expectation of 25 so they don't just like upload a Spotify playlist of, Spotify's top 23 hits or something.
Yeah.
Can I chime in real quick?
Laurel, is that you?
Laurel.
Yeah, I've been quiet all this time. I figure I'm just going to lay low this first time and listen, but I wanted to say something about lumping cocktail and dinner together. Since the bride and groom usually miss most of their cocktail hour, they're not going to hear some of their favorite songs if you lump it together. So I always think it's safer to keep it separate, because for some brides and grooms, the cocktails kind of throw away either, but that dinner music, that's going to be the first thing they hear when they sit down and they finish all the toasts and everything. So you really want to hit them with their favorite songs at the beginning of dinner and let cocktail not be a throwaway, but I also differentiate it because to some couples consider cocktail hour a different vibe. Like a lot of people started out real mellow and, the whole day is like a series of, mellow to hot, then mellow to hot again. I know it's like a roller coaster ride all day, but some people want the cocktail hour to be like more like jazzy or upbeat, and then it comes down for dinner. So you don't want to just automatically presume that they want it to be all the same style, because it might not be that way.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah, that's a great note. That's awesome.
Can you scroll through the titles that you added to my timeline? I want to look at them one more time. Yeah. I like it.
Formalities.
I like the formalities. I might steal that.
Yeah. I don't know where I got that from. And then party as well. And I don't know. Anything you want to add? Anyone want to add anything here? I think we're good. Any other links we got in the chat? Let's see here. I think that was it. American Rob. That is great. All right.
Sweet.
I'm going to go into a monologue of school dances, but before I do, Maxwell, please go ahead. The stage is yours.
Sweet. Oh, a monologue. I'm excited. Okay, so for the onboarding process, I do it a little bit differently. I don't really sit down with my clients to onboard them. Honestly, I just don't have the time. I pretty much try to automate everything that I can, but keep the branded piece of the experience consistent all the way through. So there is a short video in the Facebook page about how you can create some custom design emails. I really should make a version 2.0 of that. If you guys want me to, definitely let me know. But I'll show you essentially what my clients receive after they book with me that has everything to do with Vibo. So let me pull it up. Perfect. So this is my email template that I send out for any client that immediately books with us. This is right through Gmail. So it can create it from scratch. It's not too hard. And I have everything linked in here. I put in the client's names and change the text, and then it just tells them a little bit about what they're getting into, a little bit about what to expect with the convenience. And then this right here is actually just a photo that I screenshotted from the App Store. And you can change the link to be that couple's invite link. So they just tap on that email. It's going to jump them right to the App Store. It's going to onboard them completely, but it just gives them a little bit more of a branded experience. And then below that, I just give them a 3-step process. 1, start, create an account. 2, navigate to the top bar. 3, answer these questions in these sections first, and then you're off to the races. So they just have a little bit of a visual of what to expect before they open the app for the first time. And it just has, at least on my end, seemed to make the process a little bit more enjoyable for everyone. So just wanted to share.
Awesome.
Perfect. That was genius. Maxwell with the gems today. The gold
bars. Not nuggets,
real quick.
Sorry, go ahead, David.
Real quick, I know Mike Sinclair in his template, he accidentally made a section into a heading or into a headline. And then he turned it back because everything disappears. So then he turned it back and everything was still gone. You need to go into your section settings. If you accidentally do that, do not delete that. But if you make something a headline, it'll automatically turn off songs, questions, and notes. If you uncheck it to make it not a headline anymore, hoping that your stuff will come back, it's not going to come back. You actually have to go in to your section settings up in the corner and turn all 3 of those back on, and your stuff will be there.
Hey, love it.
When creating headlines for the first time, you guys, I would definitely recommend creating a new section for that headline.
Absolutely.
Every time. Don't use one you already have in there so you don't lose that stuff.
Right.
All right. That was genius. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Hard work.
Right, Mr. Monologue, I think we're ready.
All right. So this is going to be news for most people. or some people, or only one person, but I want to go through this and have it recorded so people can look back on this and understand the madness, which is school dances. Okay, and some of my guys here, Laurel and American Rob, you may have heard me talk about this before, but for the new people here and the people watching and recording, I will go through best practices when it comes to school dances. Now, my school dance playlist is only one section, right? And it is a massive 150 song playlist request, and it is set to public. For the new people to Vibo, always set your school dance playlist to public. You do not want to be sharing out the host link. You only want to share out the guest link. And on top of that, for school dances, this is the only time where I will actually enable guests can invite guests, okay? You want as many kids in here as possible, okay? Because you want them to give you massive amounts of data as a DJ, right? I'm not sure. I don't know about you guys, but you know, these kids, they stay the same age and we just keep getting on older, okay?
Not to mention you want your branding in every kid's phone.
Oh yeah. Why not? Why not? Bar bat mitzvahs, Sweet 16, Quinceañeras coming up, send it to their parents. Also, this playlist, all right, before I get into the details of it, put this little section up here for your kid to know what happens, right? So I added in the little emojis because this is what they see on their phone, and this is what's going to happen when they start adding songs. Now, why does this say songs with the lowest votes get deleted? Let me hop into that, okay? So when you're doing your section for the school dance song request, okay, you just got one massive timeline. You're gonna first set this limit to whatever you want, whether it be 50 or 100 or 150. Now, say their school dance is months away or weeks away, right? If it's months away, you're gonna slowly increase this number as time goes, because what's gonna happen is once those kids get inside the app, 150 is going to go like that, okay? Probably within the first hour. But what you want them to do and what you want to force them to do is to start voting on songs that are already there, because what we want to know is not what everyone wants to hear, but what specifically will work the best. And the only way we're going to understand that is through the voting feature, right? So when you cap this at 150, they have no other option than to vote on the existing songs, right? Now, the songs with the lowest votes get deleted. Month by month, or every week, or every day, usually, go ahead in there and delete the lowest 10 songs with 1 or 0 votes, right? It's probably some kid going through some shit. He's depressed. All right, no one wants to hear those songs. All right, delete them. Make some room, all right? That gives some kid the option to add in 10 more new songs. And at the same time, you can go ahead and increase this limit. If it's a week up into their dance, I'll every day add another 10 songs or another 25, right? And I'll reach up to probably about 300 songs, right? Even though I'm not going to play that many, I'm just giving them a chance to vote on new songs and fresh songs. But at the same time, I'm forcing them to use that voting feature. And these kids are smart, because I had gotten to a little bit of a groove of adding songs at noon every day. And they were clearly waiting on me to add some new space into this this dance request playlist, because it would fill out very quickly. Okay.
Question, Jay. How many kids do you usually get on a school dance to participate? And
How many
likes do you usually get on a?
That's a decent question, and I already had loaded this up because that was the next part of my monologue here. Thank you, appreciate it. Praise God. So as you can see here, we reached 265 songs for this 8th grade school dance, and we're all DJs here, so you'll appreciate them. You'll appreciate the songs that were top voted here, which are just regular songs, right? They weren't like some strange TikTok stuff. But I would not have known that. Like, there's 36 votes and 30 votes on Party on the USA. Like, how many of us play that on a weekly basis, right? Like, these are what these kids wanted. And I wouldn't have known that had they not been forced to use this voting feature. Now, this was capped at 100 for a few weeks. They were voting on songs. And then I slowly added into the song limit until it reached 265. Like, I gave them 5 or 10 per day. Okay. And I went in and I deleted the lowest voted songs. But now, as a DJ, I have a really good idea of what's going to work well at this school dance. Even if I didn't add to this list whatsoever, I know what most of the kids are going to want to get to. Now, Michael, I don't see any of the people inside of this old event anymore. So
Whoops.
I can't really answer that question for you. But based off the number of votes, I would say, and normally we get probably about 150 kids. I would say we get about 20% of the dance population, 25% of the dance population.
How early do you send this out, and how do you find your champion, quote unquote, that sends it to every, like, usually it's like one champion is going to send it to a bunch of people.
Right.
You got to find those superstars, right?
Right. So the best way to do that, one, is to copy that guest link. And there's a cool little tab here for turn guest links into QR codes. You're going to want to suggest that either the student council or whoever's chaperoning that dance post that QR code all up along the school, or wherever if it's a senior dance, wherever the seniors hang out. That way the kids can literally just scan it with their phone, right?
Careful. Has to be a guest link.
Yes, absolutely. It has to be a guest link. And also sometimes these schools give the kids email addresses so they can shoot out that guest link to all the appropriate kids through their email addresses as well. All right. So that is it. That is my monologue.
I'd love to add something in to
Please do.
what you're talking about. I just finished doing a elementary school dance, so kindergarten through 5th grade. And what I ended up doing is giving the gym teacher a host link, and basically I added 100 songs into the list, made it 150, and the kids basically, for rewards or whatever, they were able to ask for song requests. And so the coach would basically, if the song was already in there, he would just add a like to, to the song that was there, which most of the 100 songs, these kids are, they love Queen and stuff, because I guess, I don't know, just all the random stuff. So it was cool. And then they basically added like 5 other songs, but then I let because I work with mainly the PTO for a lot of these dances. So the PTO, I gave a host link to the PTO president. I'm sorry, I didn't give a host link to the coach. I gave them a guest link, so they added stuff in. But I gave the host link to basically the admin, so they could go in and they could mark off the do not playlist songs ahead of time. And so I closed it out, a few days before the event, so they had some time to check lyrics and stuff, and they did all the censoring for me, and it kind of worked out. But then I've had another, like an 8th grade dance coming up, and we did this really similar thing. And for this one, but I found that adding the first 100 songs really made a big difference for my group, just so that there's only a few songs that they had to add. Most of it was just stuff they liked from previous dances that I've done with them, where they would come up to my table and badger me until I'd play some random young boy, NBA something. I don't know. Yeah.
Something the baby.
That's a cool idea. I really like that idea of preloading the things you actually know that they like.
That's really cool.
Another little thing for school dances is with all the TikTok craze. I haven't DJ'd honestly in a real party for 5 years, but I remember back. Yeah, if you could import any playlist, you can now go in and find a TikTok 2023 or whatever on Spotify, and in seconds you can import another recommendation that they may get excited about.
Yeah, that song ideas list, you could really cater to the age group that you're DJing for schools and things like that. 100%.
Yeah.
Jay, will you make that school dance template public?
Sure. It's only one playlist.
Yeah, but it's got all the text in there that I don't want to have to type in.
Oh, I'll put it in the chat. Good Lord.
Perfect.
Hey.
Cool. Yeah. Anyone else? We're going on an hour and a half, so I'd like to
that's it.
Wrap up.
Yeah, guys. Any other questions that we can help with tonight? Feel free to jump in. You don't have to stay quiet.
And I'll for sure stay after the call for anyone that needs one-on-one help. Mike, I think Mike left. Where's Mike? I thought Mike wanted to stay. Always find the issue with TikTok. What does Chris say? Cool. So let's wrap up, guys. I'm going to stop the recording here.